threw a rod through the block.
Today went from awesome to real sad. Wait a minute, if this happened, Chris, if this happened, then you can't talk shit about at least all my shit runs. Yeah, that's bad. That's all. I heard you go run and then
It stopped. There's no power.
You stopped?
I think I threw a rod through the block.
You have the head gasket. That's all. I don't think you went through the rod because there's no.
It wasn't overheating.
Yeah, but you're overheating now. You blew the head gasket through the.
So here I pull all the fuel lines off. And then we make sure all the coolant lines are disconnected. Once I get those off, I make sure there's no electrical connected to the engine harness anymore. And we'll go underneath, make sure all the fluids are drained, and start pulling the suspension apart. So we drain out the power steering fluid and then pull the rack out. With that done, I can pull the exhaust off. I'll hop in the car real quick and pull the shifter out of the transmission. We can raise the car back up, pull the control arms off. I'll lay my boards down to give the engine something to sit on, that way I can pull the engine out. Alright, so the engine's basically out. I got the 4 K-member bolts left, and we got the engine and the transmission sitting on a couple blocks. We'll pull these 4 bolts out and slowly lift the lift back up, and hopefully we don't hit any snags. When lifting the car back up, make sure that there's nothing connected to the engine and go slow with it. That way you don't ruin any harnessing or lines. So we got the engine out, and there's oil everywhere, and
no holes in the block.
Still can't really tell what's going on, but there's no holes in the block, and it's real wet everywhere. So
no holes to the inside of the block that I can see. So
it's real wet on the back of this head gasket. So it might just be the head gasket, or maybe it came out of this intake gasket. It looks like it could be wet there.
That's weird.
But this thing has overheated like 6 trillion times, so that could have been old. Who knows? So first things first is pull the head gaskets and see what's going on. We got the transmission off, we got the engine off the K-member, and we finally got it on a stand. This is gonna be the first time ever draining the oil in this since I've owned it. So we'll see how this goes. And she's pretty black, actually, but it's clean, so there's a little mist. You don't gotta worry about that. But yeah, so still no idea what's actually wrong with this. Hopefully it's just a head gasket. I already got the head gasket kit in. I got that other engine over there ready to go. So I'm really hoping I can just swap the cams in this, put new head gaskets in, and we'll be set, but no telling what's actually wrong with it until we get the heads off. So hopefully I can get that done tonight. All right, we got the head off here, and there's not super big indication of what happened, except there's a lip around over here, and this is the oil passage, and right here it's kind of soft. And when you look at the head gasket and you flip it around, there is a spot right there that is missing the little black ring. So kind of thinking that it came out over there, because when you look at the valley, all the oil is coming from that one spot, and I can't find any cracks or anything. So hopefully that's that. So we'll resurface this real quick and resurface the heads, get new head gaskets on it, and I'll pull this side, do new head gaskets and stuff, and we'll put the new cams and valve springs in, and we'll be ready to go. The head's off. The heads actually look super nice. Cams, cam sprockets, valve springs, all those gonna come out. I'm actually gonna run them back in this because these have the girdled cam caps, and the cam journals also look way nicer, and they're Portuguese ported, and we know that they make power. So I'm probably like 45 minutes into this engine, and I'm pretty much done with it. This is doo-doo, don't really care about that. The motor mounts are probably the nicest ones I've ever seen in my life. Crank's cracked, all the journals are kind of messed up, and yeah, it's straight doo-doo. So I'm gonna be real lazy with this, and I'm gonna go put it in my scrap pile, like so. Trying to get away from all these pistons I took out. I use these to make a Christmas gift for my dad. So try not to hit the car. Do a little off-roading. Man, the suspension on these engine jacks is pretty crazy. Hopefully it works. Literally perfect. Couldn't do any better than that. This is the first day that I'm starting to put the engine back together, and we broke off one of the studs in the head, and we're actually able to get it out pretty easily putting the head in the mill. And I figured since I'm here, we might as well just port the exhaust side too. So we're gonna use the mill to do a real rough cut on the exhaust side, and then I'll do everything else with like a die grinder. All right. So there's our first port with the rough cut on the mill. I'd say that would probably take 30 minutes with a Dremel. It took us, what, like 10 minutes to set up, or 15 minutes to set up and 10 minutes to cut. So we saved 5 minutes, and that was on the first one. We only got 7 more to go. Sick. I'm back at the shop on day 3. I started working on the heads, but my carbide was broken. So I was kind of making a mess. So I'm waiting to get a new carbide. I did get my valve reliefs done on the pistons. They're not the most pretty thing in the world, but they should work. So everything's ready to go. Pistons are all cleaned up, and the block's all prepped. So I'll start shoving these pistons in, and we can get going. So I got factory Mal pistons here, or sorry, piston rings, and they should be already ready to go, but I'm still gonna check them and file fit them if I need to. I'll probably open the gaps up a little bit because I don't really like letting this thing warm up, and it gets pretty hot. So that'll help prevent the rings from overlapping and scoring the cylinders. Well, I started cleaning up these heads to just even everything out, and we cut too far into the coolant jacket on both heads. So this one I tried to do as little as possible to just blend it. You can actually see there's a line like right where we stopped cutting it, and then pretty much right underneath that is where the coolant jacket is. The other one, I had an issue with the Dremel and it hopped, so I was trying to match all the ports, and this one and this one I think went through on that one. So Both heads are junk, and I'm gonna just take the other heads that came off the junk engine, and I'll just deburr them, polish them real quick, and change the valve springs back over to those heads. The port work's finally done, and I got the valve springs all back in, and we're gonna start resurfacing the head. You can see here this head's all resurfaced. This one is doo-doo. So all I did is I got a sand and block for body work right here with some 180. Just go over this very lightly and uniformly. Try to go longer strokes with it, and it will take everything right off. You can see it's already shining up. You don't want to go super hard with this because you don't want to have any dips or anything. You kind of just want to make sure that there's no scratches. I kind of threw these heads around a little bit because I didn't think I was going to use them. So I got to do it a little bit more than the average person. But kind of glad because these valves are a lot nicer than the valves that were in the other car. You can see here the exhaust ports, which aren't beautiful, but it's hopefully better than nothing. So the Portuguese port's done. Call it the hopefully better than nothing Portuguese port, and we'll get these resurfaced, and all I'm waiting to do is polish up the cams and I can get the motor all the way rust together. Since the heads are all ready to go, we'll start getting these on here. I get everything from Rock Auto because it's really cheap, and they give you a good product. I got this whole gasket kit. I think it was like 180 bucks. Oh, look at that. Comes with extra exhaust gaskets too. That's nice. So it comes with intake gaskets, timing cover gaskets, pretty much everything you'll need to do the head gaskets on the car. This is like 180 bucks or 120 bucks. It wasn't bad. And then you want to replace the head bolts, especially if you have a blown head gasket, because they are torque to yield. These ones I don't believe they are because they say 8.8 on them, but I'll have to look that up to get the torque spec on those. But everything was under 300 bucks to do this, and yeah, check out Rock Auto because they're usually the cheapest ones to get you the parts. Well, I hope you liked the video. There's gonna be more to come. We're gonna get this engine together and see what it actually makes for power. So make sure you subscribe, like, and share, and tell your friends. That way we can just keep making more videos for you.